Welcome to the Dr. Random podcast. I'm Dr. Sarah, and here's the deal. We don't do boxes here. Every episode is different, every conversation has its own flavor, and no topic is off limits. If you're looking for predictable, this isn't it. But if you want real conversations, honest takes, and a touch of intellect in the best way, you're in the right place. This is Dr. Random Podcast. Hello, welcome to the Dr. Random Podcast. I'm Dr. Sarah, and today I have guest Derick Zwerneman with ServSource, and it is such an amazing organization, and we're going to kind of dive into what ServSource is all about and get to know Derick better. And we are actually connected through family, which is interesting. Like, we called ourselves before long lost cousins. And Derick is joining us from, I think, exactly Austin, Texas, but he can correct me if I'm wrong. So, Yeah, Derick, I'll go ahead and let you take the floor and tell us about yourself and about ServSource.
Oh my goodness. Hey, Sarah, thank you so much. Dr. Random, I love the name of the podcast, and I, like you, have started something, and, you know, when you're consistent, it grows. And so I want to encourage you, just keep on going. It's going to be incredible. Some of your guests have been amazing, but hey guys, my name is Derick Zwerneman. I'm a founder and director of ServSource. And, you know, this is totally random because I've listened to a lot of the other podcasts, and ServSource is unique. It is a organization that was developed for communication and resource development in times of disaster. So how many of y'all are out there and you've been through a major catastrophe? That's going to be most of us. And truly what ServSource was built for is to be able to serve communities all over the country, and now really around the world, by helping leaders connect and collaborate and go back and serve with greater knowledge and relationships. So I don't know how deep you want to go, but this organization was founded because there was a gap. There was a gap in communication. There was a gap in the coordination between organizations around the country that do disaster response. And if you think about it, and if you start digging, you're going to find a lot of organizations that do incredible work. But the fact of the matter is, if they're talking, if they're able to communicate, they can do it better. And we focus on the local churches. So my background is I've been a firefighter for 28 years in the city of Austin. I actually just retired. Yes, I'm retired. 51 years old, and I retired from the Austin Fire Department after 28 years of service. And, you know, it was really those days working with the fire department that helped me. For one, it opened the door for me to be able to serve in my church and to get involved. And I actually had the opportunity to be on our church staff here at Celebration Church in the Austin area for about 10 years. So, Sarah, you know, this is my story can go all over the place, but I want to be able to draw it in and just give you the nutshell. So basically, the background of being a firefighter in Austin, my heart has always been to serve, and it's meeting people in their worst times and helping them find a solution to the problem, right? My dad was a firefighter here in Austin. He was also 28 years. He retired a battalion chief here. And so my whole life was just kind of driven by, okay, how do we serve people? How do we help people? And when we had the opportunity to move into Round Rock, we're a very young family. And I had Jackson, which was, I think he was about 3 years old, and London was about 1 year old. And those are our two oldest kids now, 26 and almost 24. And, you know, when we came into this town with our with these little kids, we were meeting neighbors. We were, you know, finding that local church to get connected to, and man, God showed up. You know, as we moved into our neighborhood, we're we didn't want to be weird Christians, right? We didn't want to be like that family, like, oh, here they come, you know? And so we were praying for our neighborhood, and we had just moved in, and guess what? A disaster happened. We had a flood, and this was like in 2008, 2009. Hurricane Hermine, or Tropical Storm Hermine, spun off some terrible storms that flooded about 30 homes in my neighborhood. And that's where I just started calling some of the guys from my church and some of the firefighters I worked with, and it was a Sunday night, and we just started helping people. So one house after the other, helping them get furniture out, helping to make sure they're out. First responders were coming. We knew how to deal with them. And over that next week, we had people that were devastated. We had families that had just lost their home, and we had a great opportunity to be able to serve them and help them get back on their feet. So this is the short story, but we had served for about a week, and calling on many more friends and other churches and connections in the community, the police chief and I had connected, and it was because we were out there serving that he and I just started talking. And on the Saturday following the event, he calls me the Friday night before, and he says, hey, we want to do a big community day to kind of help, you know, clean up these homes and everything. And you guys have been out here and done such a great job that I'd love for you to come and kind of help us get people mobilized. And so I went down there. I think it was 8:30. Everybody was meeting, and it was at our kids' school. So Deepwood Elementary, right here in the neighborhood. And I get there, and literally, like, all my neighbors, all my friends, lots of the church people were there. There were firefighters there. And it was just an incredible sight to see, because as I'm walking up, I see the police chief, Tim Ryle, going, hey, there he is. Come up here, Derick, you know. And so he's up there with a lot of the city leaders. I believe the fire chief, police chief. I believe the mayor was even there at that time. And I go up, and he introduces everybody, and he gets to me, and he goes, we couldn't have done it. Like, all of this is great. The city has its plans in place, but we couldn't have done it without the local church. And he puts his hand on my shoulder and says, Derick, can you, help lead us out today? And it was in that moment that I really felt like my whole life had just kind of come together, and I found that real purpose that I had. And it wasn't just serving as a firefighter, it was serving as the church. And so we led people out. It was amazing, connected with, a lot of those city leaders. And man, we just started doing stuff. And right after that is when I was asked to come on staff at Celebration Church by Pastor Joe and Lori Champion. And I became the outreach pastor. So community outreach and service is what I did. So bring it all back to ServSource. ServSource is really the product of a bunch of outreach pastors and leaders coming together. So once I started leading, we had some big events happen in our country. And in 2011, it was my first time to take a big team into a major disaster to go help and to serve with the local church. And it was in Tuscaloosa. I don't know if you guys remember the super tornadoes of 2011, but it was a big deal. Yeah. And so we had about 30 people that came together. We jumped in 2 vans. We had 2 U-Hauls full of stuff that people just pulled together to take up there. And we get there, and we spent about a week and a half on the ground. It was 30 people, and 4 of those were firefighters that wanted to come and run chainsaws, and they had the training, they had the skills, and they just wanted to get involved. And so it was a really great opportunity to kind of mix all of those, parts of my life together to be able to go out and serve. And what I realized on that trip is that, one, teams build whenever they go do stuff. People connect, and you learn about the people that you're serving with. The second thing was that there was really no organized strategy for serving. We saw all these incredible organizations coming together and to converge on a city, but we were with churches that had a line of nonprofits waiting to meet with the leadership to say, hey, here's how we can help you make your choice. How can you do this? And so if you think about the big organizations, I mean, you think like Samaritan's Purse, and you think Convoy of Hope, you think God's Pit Crew, 8 Days of Hope. These are all really big, incredible organizations. And I thought they were amazing. And we actually plugged in with several of them and did some work. But leaving that, there was a real strong pull in my heart to be able to help influence what the church does in that moment and how they're connected. A little bit down the road, we had the Joplin tornado happen. We took a team to that. And wouldn't you know it, old Tim Ryle, that police chief from Round Rock, Texas, he actually went on that first trip to Tuscaloosa with us. And when Joplin hit, he called me and said, man, are we going? Let's go. And so he ended up leading the team and really pulling that together. And we went up to Joplin and served, and the local church just rose up because there was a system in place. And if there's any emergency responders out there or military guys, you know what ICS is. So it's Incident Command Structure or System. And that's all we did, is we took a basic, operations, logistics, planning, finance model and said, hey, how do we plug this into the church and help them serve better because they're more prepared? And so that idea carried along with me through many disasters and as I led outreach at the church. And in 2017, one of the guys that I met through that Tuscaloosa event and then other events that we kept running into each other at is Dennis Harris from Church of the Highlands. And Dennis pulled together what we called the Disaster Response Relational Network. So it's a roundtable, a time for church leaders to get together, to connect and talk about lessons learned. And so on that first year, we had I think there was about 38 of us. The year before, we actually talked with a smaller group, but the first official in 2017 was about 38 leaders. And the next year we had over 60. And then the following year, we decided to invite some of those nonprofit leaders that we kept running into. And out of 18 that we invited, 17 showed up. And I mean, they're directors, they're founders. These guys were and girls were amazing. And it was like stepping into a room with all of your heroes in one spot. Because for me, I've been following what they do, trying to figure out how to plug teams in. And this meeting in 2019 was the first time that we all got together. And I want to tell you that it was an incredible God thing, but man, it was awkward. It was truly awkward because there was almost like a little competition going on between some of these guys. So if you can imagine in Moore, Oklahoma, when you've got a devastated, community and you've got all these different systems happening, the organizations used to go and put a sign, like a for sale sign, in front of a house that they got as a work order. And so you had all these signs going up. Well, that was kind of messy because people wanted to help, but there was a sign in the yard. And so what we did through this disaster response relational network is what we call it now, the DARN network, is we broke down some walls and we asked some questions like, hey, how can we do this better together? How can we grow together and be the big C church like 1 Corinthians talks about? Yeah. I've shared this many times, and I think I heard Tim Tebow talk about it the other day. The body of Christ is beautiful when it's together, but when it's separated, and my pastor uses this analogy all the time. What if, the eyeball, if you take the eyeball, it's beautiful, but if it's disconnected to the body, then it's this ugly, gross thing that's disconnected. And so The idea is that we're connected and we can move together as the body of Christ in a way that brings glory to God. And so that's what these meetings became. And to fast forward a couple of years, in 2020, I just really had an experience where I was going in to lead one of these roundtables, and the other leaders both had COVID at the time. Now they ended up showing up, but going into it, I thought I was going to be the only one that came with the plan for this meeting. And I get to the airport and I'm sitting there, and it's like I said, it's COVID. And I realized that it was just me and the crickets in the airport because I got there 3 hours early for a 6 a.m. flight. and I started praying, Sarah, and I got one of those downloads, that I just started writing on the back of an envelope. And it was ServSource. I mean, the name ServSource, the structure, how we could build it, how we could work with churches outside of disaster and helping them to connect, collaborate, and go back and serve their communities with greater knowledge and relationship because they came together. And then how can we translate that and work together in a major time of disaster? And that's what we do now. So that is the very long story. I'm sorry I took so much time, but man, I tell you, we have truly seen God work in the collaboration, but then also the real collective impact. Like, how do we do this better? And let's actually go do it. Let's build some real relationships, and let's see who has what, and let's move forward and help them, serve in their lanes at the greatest capacity that they possibly can. So there you go. That's quite a bit.
No, amazing. And, something that you have touched on that I'm thinking about is, you guys have grown so much, and it sounds like pretty quickly too. And even though, this isn't a corporation or how you want to look at it, but you guys are out there serving people and helping people during disasters and tragedies. The challenge of, like you said, where there is some competitiveness going on or things that will arise, and tapping into all these different leaders you have, which just sounds so amazing. It's almost like I feel like you guys need to be the model for our nation right now too. But it's just
God bless America.
yes. Woo-hoo. And I think about what do you do as being, a faith-based organization when you feel like maybe some things start to arise as a leader and dealing with that. I know, of course, prayer is number one always, but if someone's out there, maybe they have their own organization, do you have any advice for them on leading ServSource?
Some of the things that I've learned, and I mention that I retired from the fire department and I'm 51 years old. So I have a couple of years maybe on some of the listeners, but fact of the matter is that Derick is only one piece of the puzzle. There's only so much that I can do. And my gift is really the relational connections, right? I have, God's given me a lot of vision for what and how ServSource can move forward. And I've worked with a lot of people, learned about their organizations, learned about how they do, business or ministry in this case. And fact of the matter is, I don't do all those things, right? And so this last year, and this is a really good example for any leader that's out there. This last year, a year ago, January, we hired our first employee. So Michael Gardner, he's our operations director, and he is just amazing. Like he's technically gifted, right? Like he could take this basic framework of a website that I put together just to share the vision and begin to start putting tools in there and buttons and CMS tables and data structures. And I'm going, okay, I'm not even going to tell Michael how to do that, because I truly believe that we're each gifted in a certain way, and we have certain gifts that God uses to be able to really push the ball forward. And in this case, and after listening to many Craig Groeschel podcasts, I don't know if you know Craig Groeschel, but he's one of my favorites if you don't listen. But, it's truly one of those things where you've just got to give leadership away. I can come in and say, hey, Michael, I need some pretty buttons that say monitoring, sending assessment teams, or we're now responding. But fact of the matter is, I have no idea how to make those to where you can interact with them, to where you can push them and they send those people to a Slack channel that's now communicating. I don't even know how to build the maps all the time. Like, there's just a lot of pieces and a lot of parts that as I was getting into it, I was getting drained. It was just eating me up because it was not what I was geared for. You know what I'm saying? Have you ever been in that type of situation to where it's like, okay, this is really hard, you know? And fact of the matter is, there's somebody out there that goes, "Ooh, I really love this. I want to do it," you know?
Yeah.
And this is incredible. And so for me, that's one of the greatest lessons that I've learned as a leader is to allow other people to lead too. It's not all about you, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It's not all about me. And what I've found with ServSource is that we have so many incredible organizations and churches and leaders, and they all have these big personalities. And my prayer every day is that, God, would you give me the discernment for whoever I meet today, whatever decisions I need to make? Is it giving something away, or is it diving in and making the work happen myself? And we've seen it carry us a long ways, because not everybody can step in the middle of a controversy between two organizations. Let me put it that way,
Yeah.
you know? And guess what? Dennis Harris, the guy that I was telling you about, he's great at it. Like, man, he can sit down and go, "Hey, so tell me about this. Tell me about, okay, here's what I'm seeing. Can we kind of just move forward?" You know?
Yeah.
And not everybody can do that. Like, that's probably not Michael's gift, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's a big deal. I mean, it's just letting that leadership go, letting people really thrive in the gifts that they have. And they're going to surprise you and bring greater things than you ever thought about doing to your organization.
And, that's what amazes me so much, how you put this organization together, because, you're collaborating with, outside the church too, which is just amazing. You're bringing the community together. And, I kind of am curious. I think I saw a post with you guys on Instagram. It was either this morning or yesterday. You guys are headed to, I forget which state it is. It's kind of frozen over right now. They need a lot of help. I think you guys are going to help 300 families right now, is what I saw.
Yeah, it's probably one of our organization. I think that was a God's Pit Crew post, but they're going into Mississippi, and we actually with this storm that we just had, the winter storm, it affected so many communities. So we have partners going everywhere, and we do have an active event page for the winter storm. Fern is what it's called, and you can that's where you find who's doing what and how you can get involved. Yeah.
It's just amazing what you guys do. And, if I was just curious, can you kind of describe like maybe one of your meetings or one of your gatherings, like what it's like, or if somebody wants to get involved and become a part of it? I don't know. I'm just kind of curious. I bet there's a lot of energy there.
There is a lot of energy. Well, that little round table that Dennis Harris and many of us started together back in 2017, it's turned into a major conference now. So we do a conference each year in February. So it's actually coming up this month on the 23rd through the 25th, and it's geared toward, and it is focused on church leaders and the faith-based nonprofits that do disaster response. So that's why we call it the Disaster Response Relational Network. And it's really now, it's funny because we just had this discussion, because I consider, Dennis and a couple others as much of a founder of ServSource as I am. And we all kind of, see ourselves as we get to be a part of the Disaster Response Relational Network.
Mm-hmm.
And so ServSource is now, we started in March of 2022. We're a 501c3. So in March of 2022 is when we actually launched the 501c3, so the nonprofit. But it's been going on since 2017. We've been building those relationships all the way through. And it's really cool to see, because now it's become this family reunion. You said we're literally related, Sarah and I. And so my grandmother and your mother or sisters, or am I
Your
backwards?
grandma, which was we called her um, Aunt Vera, right?
Aunt Vera or Connie or Meemaw?
Yeah, and she was sisters with my mom's mother. Your grandma was sisters with my mom's
Okay,
mother.
perfect. So we're like fourth cousins,
Yeah, we're like third or fourth cousins. Yeah, but
third
yeah.
or fourth cousins. Well, think about that. So you're close enough to know that when our type of family gets together, you better start saying, I got to leave about 2 hours before you actually want to get in your car and get out the door. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's how this family of leaders has developed, and it's just amazing. I can't wait to get back to Birmingham in February because I'm going to see all my family. Like we're going to have some family time. I mean, it's hugs. It's man, how y'all doing? You know, it's like it's incredible, and that's really what this Serve Source now is. We support that. So we say we support those who serve communities. And it couldn't be any more true in this group. And this group is expansive. I'm telling you, like we have over 20,000 churches in an admin database now to where we can drop a pin on our GIS mapping tools. I do know a little bit about mapping, but we can drop a pin now and do a 10-mile radius or a 100-mile radius and pull all of the church leaders that are within that area. And so that's how we communicate in a time of disaster. And that's what makes ServeSource valuable to our partners. It's like, hey, what churches do you know in the area? Oh, let me go into our admin. Boom, here you go. And so we'll make a connection and then they'll set up. And then what we do is we take their information and we share it directly to the people. So if you want to serve, if you want to get involved, it's as easy as going to the ServeSource app or to the website and going to that event page and clicking on one of the partners. It'll take you straight to their website. And so as we built that together, everyone has found value in the relational capacity of this group, right? I mean, it is literally, everybody talks about relationships, but fact of the matter is, what are you really doing about it? And that's a staple of this group. It's like, man, we are truly in relationship with each other. I've got, I don't know how many pastors and directors' phone numbers and text in my phone to where it's like, hey, how's it going? Merry Christmas, right? Like, or, hey, this is happening, what are y'all guys seeing? And it's like, it's just a beautiful thing to see people work together for a common goal of truly coming in and serving a city in the name of Jesus. And so, yes, it is all about family. It is an incredible experience. And if you're a church leader or you lead an organization that does disaster relief, we'd love for you to join us. It's in February. There's a link on our website. If you just go to Leader Connections, you'll see DRRN 2026, and that'll take you to the conference page. We have over 200 already signed up, which is great for this time of the, leading up to it, because everybody signs up the last minute.
Yeah.
But
And
it has been incredible, the relationships.
And if an organization is outside a church, do you guys still take their help if they offer? I'm assuming yes.
Oh, absolutely. And,
Yeah.
one of the things that ServeSource does and our team, we really help build the bridges between local emergency services, state and local VOADs, which are the volunteer organizations active in disaster. Here in Texas, it's TDEM, which is the Texas Department of Emergency Management. Florida, there's an emergency management. And so it's a lot of relationships, and we have to carry those on. Now, ServeSource, as far as the platform and promoting the organizations, it's going to be the Christian organizations because that's who we work with all the time. But we also communicate directly with a lot of the organizations out there, that are doing some of the same type of work. And it depends on the situation whether, they're on the forefront of our page or not, because our focus would be to help get people to serve with the organizations that we're communicating with regularly.
And it's just to touch on something which is funny, you're gonna ask, just being in Texas and Austin, one of the biggest states in the US, you guys are expansive there. So, but it's funny, I went home for Christmas recently, and I just want to let you know that my mom had some old photos out, and it was you and Stacy, you were little swimming in the like creek or river by the dam, the one where I said
Yeah,
I was on the horse as a baby.
nice.
I saw him.
I want to see that picture. You need to
Yeah,
you
I'll
need to
have to
share that
share it with
picture.
you guys. Um,
Nice.
but it was pretty funny. But yeah, I
Yeah, Stacy actually lives in LA now, by the way.
oh, okay. But yeah, I would love myself to just, offer my help where any way I can or building a
Yeah.
bridge here in Charleston. I know you said that you know some of the pastors here where I go to church here. I attend Bible study here in
Yeah, so we'll actually
Charleston.
be in Charleston with Seacoast Church and the ARC conference in April. So I'll be
Okay,
there.
cool.
Maybe we can do a live broadcast with Dr. Random. We'll just take you around and show you what it's all about.
That would be amazing. I would love that.
Yeah, in Charleston, actually, there's another incredible organization. And if you're in Charleston, you probably know about them. They're called Water Mission.
Uh-huh.
And they do like a big 5K each year, this water
Uh-huh.
walk, and it's incredible. Like they're a huge partner, and they do a lot of international work.
Okay. That
But
sounds
yeah,
awesome.
you're right in the middle of a lot of people down there. So let me know if you want any contacts.
All right, that sounds great. Yeah,
But that's really what it's all about. And Sarah, I wanted to make sure that you know, and anybody listening, that anybody can use the ServSource website,
mhm.
app, the platform, and anybody can go and sign up with any of our partners. It's not, hey, do I need to be a Christian to do this? No, the answer is no. Like we want you to come out and serve and find a good avenue to be able to serve in a time of
Mhm.
crisis. And so it really is. I mean, you saw that video on Instagram that we reposted with God's Pit Crew. That's a crazy name. Like when I first met God's Pit Crew, I'm like, what is this all about? These guys are a joke. Well, I'm going to tell you, they're not a joke. They have like 20 18 wheelers and they've got these big boom trucks. And when you go on their chainsaw, they have like 40 chainsaws lined on the wall. It's beautiful. Like they do trainings. These guys are incredible. And they're the best trainers in the world, and it's going to be safe. You're going to be fed when you go on one of their trips. You have a place to lay your head and sleep, and you'll have leadership walking you through and helping you to be able to serve. So man, I want to encourage anybody, whether it's God's Pit Crew or Samaritan's Purse, or if you want to feed people with Mercy Chefs or with One Voice NOLA or Just the Crumbs. Like there's a lot of incredible organizations out there
Mhm.
all across the nation that you can go sign up. I mean, it doesn't even have to be a disaster because now we have a lot of organizations that do long-term recovery and rebuilds. So that means if you want to go help and rebuild a house in Asheville, North Carolina, you can do that like tomorrow. You just go sign up. They'll do a quick, overview of what it's going to look like and tell you what to bring,
Mhm.
and they'll take care of you and put a hammer in your hand. I mean, it's incredible. So
Yeah.
if, I mean, it's amazing to see. And we're just really a cheerleader and promoter of what's happening out there.
Mhm.
That's all we do.
Yeah. Well, I love your mission, all you guys do. Are there any upcoming projects or anything you want to share with anybody? Anything you feel like you want to share? Or you just want to encourage people to get involved? I mean, however you want
Yeah.
to, catapult Surf Source here on this platform today.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've never been a director of an organization like this, but hey, we got to raise money, right? I mean, we did between in kind and dollars that were raised to be able to support everything. We did almost $500,000 this year, so for like $496,000 in kind, with Niagara Cares, and then BioLite is another big in-kind donor. And our budget's about $360,000 a year. And so that takes care of our operational costs, but then the overflow, we work it into those rebuilds and also to the greatest needs in the time of disaster. So if you have a family foundation, or you work with a company that's like, hey, we like to support, one of the greatest ways you can do and get involved is you can give to ServSource. And so we do have a donation page. That's not what it's all about for us. I mean, it's literally we have our operational budget, and then we have like this overflow, and we pay for truckloads of water. So we've sent about 58 truckloads of water since we started with Niagara Cares, which is the Niagara bottled water. And each one of those trucks costs anywhere from $500 to $1,500 to send a truck. And so that's where those extra dollars go. We're also building. If you look on our webpage, you can find a page that it shows what our plans are moving forward, and kind of our impact report of what we're doing. It's actually on the first page if you go to impact report, and you can see that, hey, $10 will help do this, and it leads all the way up to these communication units that we're now building, which are they're shower units. They're showers and bathrooms. So like 3-stall showers. And then what we're doing is we're outfitting those with a communication system with Starlink and in a mesh network where we can cover a large area, and we can bring communications into a major event where communications may be out. And so that's a great way to do it. If you are a church leader, or you are a disaster response leader in the ministry focused world, then we definitely want you to join us at this year's conference in Birmingham. And you can go on our webpage. If you go to Leader Connections, it'll give you a drop down and click on DRRN 2026, and it'll take you right to it. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook. We have a YouTube channel that we're starting to build. We're nothing like Dr. Random yet, but we're starting to build our YouTube channel, and you can find out everything you need to know and how to get involved through those different avenues of social media. Facebook is another one, but yeah. And if you want to serve with us, fact of the matter is that whenever something major happens, we have people working from states all over. So give you an example. When Mayfield, Kentucky's tornado happened, we had a whole team in Colorado and Florida supporting the information gathering and making phone calls and connecting with people. If that's something that you would want to get involved with, go to our contact us button and let us know. Hey, this is my gift. This is my skill. We're finding that there's a lot of people that have just retired and have incredible skills. It's amazing. And we're also partnering with here in Austin. It's called Austin Christian University. So we're starting 4 students this week with an internship or a practicum, to where they're going to work with ServSource in different avenues, whether it's business or planning or strategy or social media marketing. We have a lane to where we can help them and they can help us to be able to do it better. So
Yeah.
Let me throw one more plug in, because this is big on my heart, Sarah, and we're going to have that find a firefighter button. I'm kidding, but Firefighters for Christ. So FFC, it's an international and national organization, and I've gotten real involved here in the Austin area. But what that did, of course, it connected me to the national and international leaders. And guys, if you're a firefighter out there, retired or in service, and man, I got to tell you, connect with the local Firefighters for Christ, because for one reason, ServSource is connecting, and we're going to be doing a lot of things together. But second of all, there are just firefighters out there that are struggling, with their marriages. We've had so many suicides over the last, couple of years here in Austin, even just with firefighters with a lot of pressure and a lot of challenges. So I want to encourage you to get involved with the Firefighters for Christ. We'll be sharing a lot of that through ServSource here pretty soon. And so I'm really excited about that partnership, but I'm most excited about what it's going to do to be able to impact the lives of firefighters all over the world, really.
Mm-hmm.
So
You just actually gave me another idea for a podcast.
there you go. We can hit, hey, we'd love to talk about that, and I can get you the national or international leadership. for that group.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I just envision this giant heart kind of shielding over the United States and the world with what you guys are doing. And, it's interesting to me because, like, how you said you couldn't believe where you were, like, talking with, Melania Trump's team with stuff. You never thought you would be in that position of, dealing with people. But it's like, it starts with it was just your heart for God, your heart for serving. And I think that people out there who truly have a heart for serving and, a heart for helping others during times, this is just ServSource is great. So I want to encourage everyone to navigate and support and offer your services and help and gifts. And I don't mean gifts financially, but I mean the gifts of what your gifts are as a person to offer to help serve. I know me myself, I offer my services as a photographer if needed. Sometimes I never know how that will turn out, but I'm here to do that if that's ever needed. But yeah, I'm so glad that you came on today to the Dr. Random podcast. And
Such
is there
an
anything
honor.
else you feel like you want to share before we close today?
No, I think we put a bow on it. I mean, the biggest thing with ServSource is share it and use it. We are actually going to be launching our. Everybody's got a new platform, but hey, we are launching our new platform going into the conference this year. So after the first part of March, you'll see the dynamics of it shift a little bit. It is just amazing. It's amazing. And I'm super excited about it. And so we do have an app. If you just look up ServSource on either platforms and then, follow us at ServSource on any of the other socials and share, give us that follow. We still need to get past a certain amount of followers on Instagram to do an Instagram live. So, so that always helps as well. And, I think we're all better whenever we have ambassadors. And I could sit here and tell you until I'm blue in the face how great ServSource is, but I'd rather tell you how great Mercy Chefs is or how great, Cornerstone Restoration here in Austin is. Like, they're amazing. They've rebuilt all these homes this year, and for you to go out and say, man, these guys at ServSource are incredible. Like, that's what we need. We need more ambassadors, and we're gonna be the ambassador for more as we move forward. So thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you for coming on the Dr. Random podcast today. And I'm really, really hoping that I'll make it out to Austin sooner than later. Maybe that conference in Alabama.
Come on. Hey.
Yeah. All right, everybody.
Bring it on, and we'll be in Charleston in April. So
yes. Okay. Yeah, and we'll get you some Southern food.
Come on.
So yeah, well, thank you everybody for listening today to the Dr. Random podcast, and thank you again, ServSource, Derick coming on, and we'll see you guys next time. And as always, I'll say ciao.